Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking to you today because 2026 is not just another year, it is the year of awakening. It is the year you look in the mirror and confront the person you've been hiding from. The person who settled doubts, who whispers, I can't, I won't, maybe later. I'm here to tell you that weak version of yourself. It has to go, it has to die. You cannot rise while clinging to excuses. You cannot move forward while you are shackled to fear, doubt, and hesitation. That weak version that procrastinates, that gives in to comfort, that tolerates mediocrity. Kill it now. I know you faced moments when life tried to break you, when failure seemed like a permanent mark. But every failure, every setback, every moment of despair was not your sentence. It was your signal. A signal that the weak version of you has served its purpose and now must step aside for the powerful, disciplined, fearless version of you to emerge. You must make decisions that scare you. You must do the work that others refuse to do. You must be relentless because the world will not wait. Life will not pause for your comfort. Opportunities will not linger for your indecision. Listen to me, your breakthrough is not found in hesitation. Your victory is not found in waiting. It is found in relentless action. It is found in staring your fears in the face and saying, not today, not me. I will rise, I will conquer, I will dominate. The weak version of yourself loves excuses, but the strong version of yourself loves results. The weak version whispers lies about your limits, but the strong version shouts truths about your potential. And the truth is, you are capable of more than you've ever imagined, only if you are willing to let go of the person you've been and step fully into the person you are meant to be. So in 2026, I command you, kill that weak version of yourself. Burn the bridges to complacency. Destroy the chains of fear. Abandon the lies you tell yourself and rise. Rise with courage. Rise with discipline. Rise with purpose. And rise with unstoppable momentum. The world is waiting for the best version of you, and the clock is ticking. The weak version has had its turn. It's over. 2026 belongs to the warrior, the conqueror, the person who refuses to settle. And that person is you. Stand up, declare it, commit to it, and watch your life transform in ways you never thought possible. Kill the weak version of yourself and step into the power, the glory, and the destiny that has been waiting for you all along. Every single person in this room, in this world, has a weak version of themselves. That version of you that hides behind excuses, that settles for less than you deserve, that whispers lies in your ear and tells you it's okay, just wait. It will work out someday. That weak version is the part of you that fears discomfort, that procrastinates, that convinces you that your dreams are too big, too far, too impossible. And the hard truth is this: if you do not confront that weak version of yourself, it will never let go. It will never step aside. It will continue to dictate your life until you are nothing more than a shadow of your potential. Confronting the weak version is not an option. It is a necessity. It is the first step in breaking free from the chains that have held you back. But understand this, confronting it is not comfortable. It is not easy. It is not polite. It is raw. It is brutal. Because you will have to look in the mirror and face parts of yourself you have been avoiding. You will have to acknowledge the moments when fear has controlled your choices, when doubt has paralyzed your actions, laziness has stolen your time and energy, and it is in that acknowledgement that power begins to rise. The weak version of yourself thrives on comfort. It thrives on routine that limits growth. It thrives on justifications for why you cannot start, why you cannot finish, why you cannot succeed. It hides behind circumstances, behind people, behind anything but responsibility. But here is the truth: comfort never builds greatness. Excuses never create progress. Settling never produces victory. You cannot conquer your goals while letting the weak version of you dictate the terms. It is time to confront it. Confronting your weak version begins with awareness. You must identify it. You must see it in action. Where do you give in when you should fight? Where do you pause when you should push? Where do you tell yourself, I'll try tomorrow, when tomorrow may never come? These are the moments when the weak version is alive, thriving, whispering in your ear, seducing you into stagnation. Naming it is the first step in taking back your power. You cannot defeat what you do not recognize. But recognition alone is not enough. Confrontation requires action. You must challenge it. You must stand up to it. When that weak voice whispers, you can't, you respond with, I will. When it says, it's too hard, you respond with, I am harder. When it tells you to give up, you dig deeper, you push further, you rise higher. The confrontation is not a single moment, it is a lifestyle. Every decision, every choice, every action must be measured against that weak version. Are you choosing the path of least resistance, or are you choosing the path of excellence? Are you allowing fear to hold you back, or are you stepping forward into the discomfort that leads to growth? One of the most powerful tools in confronting the weak version is honesty. Brutal, unflinching, soul-searching honesty. You must ask yourself, where have I settled? Where have I accepted mediocrity? Where have I allowed fear to write the story of my life? Do not flinch from the answers. Do not soften the edges. Face them fully. Because only when you face the truth of where you are will you understand the magnitude of where you can go. Only when you see the weak version clearly can you see the warrior inside waiting to be unleashed. Confrontation also demands accountability. The weak version loves isolation. It thrives when you act alone and keep your struggle secret. It whispers, no one is watching, no one cares, and you begin to believe it. But greatness does not grow in isolation. It grows in the light of accountability, in the presence of those who will challenge you, push you, and demand more from you than you demand from yourself. Align yourself with mentors, allies, and truth tellers who will not let you ignore your weak version, who will confront it with you, who will hold you to a higher standard. Confronting your weak version is uncomfortable because it forces you to take responsibility. It forces you to stop blaming circumstances, people, for your position in life. The weak version always points outward. It always seeks a scapegoat. But the strong version looks inward. It says, I am responsible. I own my life. I am accountable for my success and my failure. Responsibility is not a punishment. It is a weapon. When you wield it, you take control. You become the master of your destiny rather than the servant of your excuses. Furthermore, confronting your weak version requires discipline, requires you to build habits that your weak self resists, waking up early, reading, working harder than yesterday, pushing past fatigue, making decisions that serve your future self, not just your current comfort. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. The weak version fights discipline. It craves immediate gratification. But the strong version knows that long-term rewards require short-term pain, and it is willing to endure discomfort to rise above mediocrity. Lastly, confronting the weak version is not a one-time battle. It is ongoing. Weak version will return in moments of doubt, in moments of fear, in moments of exhaustion. It is persistent. It is cunning. And that is why your confrontation must be relentless. Every day, every hour, every decision is an opportunity to kill that weak version a little more, to silence its voice, to replace its whispers with the roar of your determination. Do not give it an inch, because every inch it holds is a step back from your greatness. Confront the weak version. Do not negotiate. Do not compromise. Do not pretend it is harmless. In the eyes, name it, challenge it, hold it accountable, replace its excuses with action, its fear with courage, its hesitation with discipline. Because the moment you truly confront it, the moment you stop hiding, the moment you refuse to be small, that is the moment you begin to rise. That is the moment the real version of you begins to live. That is the moment your life begins to transform. You have waited too long for permission. You have waited too long for conditions to be perfect. You have waited too long for a sign. This is your sign. This is your moment. Confront the weak version of yourself in 2026 and watch as your destiny, your purpose, and your power ignite in ways you never thought possible. Change is not optional. Change is inevitable. And yet, so many people live their entire lives resisting it, fighting it, pretending it is not happening. and hoping that somehow everything will stay the same. But life does not wait for your comfort. Life does not honor hesitation. Life rewards those who are willing to adapt, to grow, and to step into the unknown with courage and faith. If you want to rise, if you want to dominate your year, if you want to unlock the full potential within you, then you must embrace change. You must welcome it. You must make it your ally, not your enemy. Embracing change begins with mindset. You must understand that change is not a threat, it is an opportunity. Every transition, every shift, every disruption carries with it a hidden gift, a lesson, a doorway to growth. The weak version of yourself sees change and recoils. It fears uncertainty. It clings to the familiar even when the familiar is holding it back. But the strong version understands that stagnation is far more dangerous than discomfort. Stagnation is the silent killer of dreams, and the only antidote is a willingness to embrace change, to step boldly into the unknown, to trust that you have the power to adapt, overcome, and thrive. Too often, we fear change because we fear loss. We fear leaving behind old habits, old routines, old people, old environments. Even when they no longer serve us, we fear that letting go will make us smaller, weaker, or incomplete. Here is the truth. Letting go is not weakness. Letting go is strength. Letting go is courage. To embrace change, you must release the parts of your life, the beliefs and the patterns that no longer align with your highest vision. You must recognize that holding on to the past only keeps you from the future that is waiting for you. Embracing change also requires action. It is not enough to merely say, I am ready. You must move, you must adjust, you must adapt. You must be willing to step into unfamiliar territory, even when your legs shake, even when your mind resists, even when the world around you doubts. The weak version of yourself hesitates. It analyzes endlessly. It waits for permission, for validation, for the perfect moment. The strong version understands that the perfect moment rarely comes. The perfect moment is a myth. The strong version moves despite fear because action is what transforms change from a challenge into a victory. One of the most critical aspects of embracing change is resilience. Change is rarely smooth. Change is rarely easy. Change often brings discomfort, uncertainty, temporary setbacks. And the weak version sees these obstacles and gives up. It says, this is too hard. I can't do it. But the strong version persists. The strong version understands that every challenge within change is a test of character, a proving ground for strength, discipline, and faith. Resilience is what allows you to bend without breaking, to adapt without losing your purpose, and to grow without surrendering to fear. Powerful element of embracing change is curiosity. Be curious about the new paths before you. Be curious about the opportunities hidden within disruption. Be curious about the strength, wisdom, and growth that change can produce in your life. Curiosity allows you to see change not as a punishment, but as a teacher. It allows you to explore, experiment, and discover aspects of yourself you never knew existed. The weak version resists curiosity. It assumes it knows the outcome before even starting. But the strong version steps forward with a sense of adventure, a willingness to learn, and a hunger for growth. Embracing change also demands courage. Courage to leave behind the people, the environments, the habits that no longer serve your highest good. Courage to take risks, to step into uncertainty, and to trust that your efforts will bear fruit. Courage to acknowledge that the life you have been living may not be the life you are destined for, and to take the steps necessary to create a new reality. The weak version fears courage. It fears judgment, rejection, failure. But the strong version understands that without courage, there is no transformation, no growth, no breakthrough. Embracing change is not about reckless decisions. It is not about abandoning wisdom, responsibility, or planning. It is about aligning your choices with your vision, with your purpose, with the life you are meant to lead. It is about making conscious, intentional shifts that propel you forward. Every change, every pivot, every adjustment must be a step toward the version of yourself that is stronger, wiser, unstoppable. Embracing change also requires patience. Transformation does not happen overnight. The weak version expects immediate results. It wants instant gratification. But the strong version understands that meaningful change is a process. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes consistent action. Every day, you must reaffirm your commitment to the new path, to the new habits, to the new mindset. You must continue moving forward, even when the results are not yet visible, because every small step compounds into massive progress. Finally, embracing change is about vision. You must see beyond the discomfort of the present moment. You must see the possibilities that lie ahead. You must imagine the life you are capable of creating, the person you are capable of becoming, and allow that vision to guide every decision, every action, every choice. The weak version lives in the past or the present, afraid to dream bigger. The strong version lives in the future, shaping it with intention. Courage and relentless determination embrace change. Do not resist it. Do not fear it. Do not cling to the past. Step boldly into the unknown, to new circumstances. Learn from every obstacle and grow through every challenge. Release what no longer serves you. Trust in your ability to navigate uncertainty. Move forward with courage, resilience, and discipline. And watch as the life you once thought impossible begins to unfold before your eyes. Remember this, the world is constantly changing, whether you like it or not. Question is not whether change will come, it is whether you will rise to it or be crushed by it. The weak version resists, complains, and fears. The strong version adapts, grows, and conquers. Which version will you choose? Which version will you embody in 2026? The answer is yours, and your life will never be the same once you decide to embrace change fully, fearlessly, and relentlessly. There comes a moment in the life of every person where hesitation no longer serves. There comes a moment when the time for thinking, planning, doubting, delaying must come to an end. That moment is now. That moment is today. That moment is the moment you decide to take fearless action. Because dreams, goals, and breakthroughs are not achieved in comfort zones, and they are certainly not achieved by those who wait for the perfect moment. Perfect moment rarely comes. The opportunity that will change your life will not knock twice. And the weak version of yourself, the part that doubts, procrastinates, and fears must be silenced if you are to move forward. Taking fearless action begins with mindset. You must understand that fear is inevitable. Fear is not a signal to stop. Fear is a signal that something important is at stake, that growth is on the line, that you are standing at the edge of transformation. The weak version of yourself interprets fear as a warning to retreat. It sees risk and hides. It hears uncertainty and freezes. But the strong version sees fear as a compass. It knows that where fear exists, there is also opportunity. It knows that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move forward in spite of it. Action is the antidote to fear. The moment you act, fear loses its grip. The moment you step forward, hesitation is silenced. The moment you take the first step, the path begins to unfold. Yet so many people allow fear to keep them trapped. They wait for confidence to appear before acting. They wait for certainty before moving. They wait for permission that will never come. Let me tell you something, confidence comes through action. Certainty comes through movement and permission. You give it to yourself. Taking fearless action also requires decisiveness. The weak version of yourself dithers, wavers, and overthinks. It makes plans, rewrites them, and then makes excuses for why it didn't start. The strong version decides, commits, and moves. Decisiveness is the bridge between intention and result. It is the fuel that propels you from dreaming to doing. Every moment you hesitate, every moment you delay is a moment that life moves forward without you. And the life you want, the success, the growth, the impact requires movement, waiting. But action is not just about speed, it is about purpose. Fearless action is deliberate, it is intentional, it is focused. Mindless activity may look like action, but it achieves nothing. The strong version takes action that aligns with vision. Every step is calculated, every effort directed, every move designed to push you closer to the life you are destined to live. The weak version drifts, reacts, and hopes. The strong version creates, executes, and dominates. Taking fearless action also requires resilience. Action does not guarantee immediate results. Action may bring setbacks. Action may expose you to failure, criticism, and rejection. And the weak version of yourself sees this as a reason to stop. It sees a single failure and declares defeat. But the strong version persists. The strong version knows that failure is not the enemy. It is the teacher. Every setback is an opportunity to adjust, learn, and move forward stronger than before. Action without resilience is wasted effort. Action with resilience is unstoppable momentum. Fearless action demands courage. Courage is not the absence of risk. It is the willingness to face risk head on. Courage is stepping into situations where the outcome is uncertain and the stakes are high. Courage is saying, I will move forward even when I am afraid, even when I feel inadequate, even when the odds seem stacked against me. The weak version avoids risk. It clings to comfort. It hides behind safety. The strong version embraces risk because it understands that every great reward is born from the willingness to act when others hesitate. Key component of fearless action is consistency. One act of courage may not change your life, but repeated acts, repeated steps, repeated effort will. The weak version acts sporadically. It waits for inspiration, motivation, or mood to dictate its movement. The strong version acts relentlessly. It shows up every day, even when tired, even when discouraged, even when fear is whispering in its ear. Momentum is built through consistent action. The results you seek are produced by habits, not hope. Taking fearless action also requires self-belief. You must believe that you are capable of more than you have ever attempted. You must believe that you have the strength, the skill, the intelligence, the resilience to face challenges and succeed. The weak version doubts itself constantly, underestimates its potential, asks, what if I fail? The strong version asks, what if I succeed? The strong version knows that every step taken in faith and action builds a reality greater than the one fear predicted. And finally, taking fearless action demands urgency. Life does not wait. Opportunities do not linger. The longer you delay, time you give your weak version to regain control. The moment for action is now. The moment for courage is now. The moment for relentless pursuit of your dreams is now. Stop waiting. Stop questioning. Stop hoping that something will change on its own. Step into the fire. Brace the discomfort. Take the risk and act with all the strength, faith, and determination you have within you. Fearless action is transformative. It turns ideas into reality, dreams into achievements, and plans into legacy. It separates those who talk from those who conquer, those who wish from those who win. The weak version will always try to talk you out of action. It will whisper, wait, not yet, it's too risky, it's too soon. But the strong version will roar, now is the time, now is my moment. Now I take my destiny into my hands. Take fearless action. Step forward when the weak version tells you to retreat. Move boldly when fear tries to paralyze you. Commit fully when hesitation tempts you to wait. Act decisively, act with purpose, act consistently, and act relentlessly. The life you want, the future you dream of will not come to you while you are passive. It will come to you when you act boldly, courageously, and without fear. Action creates momentum. Momentum creates results. Results create confidence. Confidence breeds more action. That cycle of fearless action is what will propel you past the weak version of yourself and into the extraordinary life that is waiting for you in 2026. There is a quiet, deadly trap that kills dreams, destroys potential, and robs lives of greatness. And that trap is comfort. Comfort is a sedative. It lulls you into complacency. It whispers to you, it's enough. This is fine. Stay here, relax. And for a moment, it feels good. For a moment, it feels safe. But let me tell you something. Comfort is the enemy of progress. Comfort is the refuge of the weak. Comfort is the prison of potential. If you want to rise in 2026, if you want to become the person you are capable of being, you must reject comfort. You must reject mediocrity. You must refuse to allow your life to be governed by the ease of the present when the greatness of your future is at stake. Mediocrity is equally dangerous. It is subtle. It is patient. It does not announce itself with a roar. It creeps in quietly through compromises, excuses, and half efforts. Mediocrity is the result of choosing what is easy over what is necessary. It is the outcome of doing just enough to get by instead of striving for excellence. The weak version of yourself embraces mediocrity because it fears the demands of greatness. It fears the discipline, the sacrifice, the persistence required to stand out. And so it settles. It tolerates average. It accepts less. It convinces you that good enough is enough. It is not for you, not for the life you are meant to live, not for the destiny that is calling your name. Rejecting comfort begins with awareness. You must identify the areas of your life where comfort has crept in, where you have chosen ease over growth. Where are you settling? Where are you tolerating less than you deserve? Where are you avoiding discomfort that, if faced, could transform you? These are the places where your weak version thrives. The moment you recognize them, the moment you name them, is the moment you begin to reclaim control. Awareness alone is not enough. Rejecting comfort requires action. It demands that you step out of the familiar and the safe and move into the uncomfortable. Growth never happens in a bubble of ease. Greatness is forged in the fire of challenge, in the struggle of discipline, in the discomfort of pushing beyond what you thought was possible. Every step you take outside your comfort zone is a victory. Every decision you make to choose growth over ease strengthens the warrior within you. Comfort is seductive. It will try to convince you that hard work is optional, that sacrifice is unnecessary, that discipline is overrated. It will whisper, "You've done enough. Take a break, relax, enjoy life." And for a moment, you might listen. And for a moment, you might give in. But understand this, every time you give in to comfort, you delay your breakthrough. Every time you settle for mediocrity, you delay your destiny. Every time you choose ease over excellence, you rob yourself of the life that is waiting for you. Rejecting mediocrity also requires vision. You must see the life you are capable of creating, the person you are capable of becoming, and refuse to accept anything less. Mediocrity is content with the ordinary, but greatness demands extraordinary effort, extraordinary commitment, extraordinary courage. You must envision what is possible and let that vision pull you past the temptation of the easy path. The weak version shrinks when it dreams. The strong version stretches, sacrifices, and pushes forward because it knows that the life of excellence requires boldness. Discipline is your weapon in rejecting comfort and mediocrity. Discipline is what allows you to rise before the world wakes, to push through fatigue, to work when motivation fades, and to do what must be done even when you do not feel like it. The weak version resists discipline because it seeks ease. It craves temporary pleasure over lasting results. The strong version embraces discipline because it knows the cost of temporary discomfort is far less than the cost of a lifetime of regret. Discipline is the bridge from comfort to conquest, from mediocrity to mastery. Rejecting comfort also requires resilience. The weak version gives up at the first sign of challenge, the first hint of struggle, the first taste of pain. The strong version knows that the road to greatness is paved with difficulty. It knows that every obstacle, every resistance, every moment of discomfort is a signal that growth is occurring. Resilience allows you to persist when the weak version would surrender. Resilience allows you to face the hard moments with strength, patience, and determination. Resilience transforms discomfort into fuel for your journey. Courage is another essential component. It takes courage to leave behind what is familiar, what is comfortable, what feels safe, and step into the unknown. It takes courage to challenge the limits you've set for yourself. It takes courage to reject the small, easy life in favor of the extraordinary, demanding, rewarding life that awaits you. The weak version fears courage because it fears change. The strong version understands that courage is the gateway to greatness, and it steps through time and time again, refusing to be limited by fear or hesitation. Rejecting comfort is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice. Every choice you make, every action you take, every decision you face is an opportunity to choose growth over ease, to reject the safe path, to refuse mediocrity. The weak version will always try to lure you back. It will always attempt to whisper, relax, settle, take the easy route. But the strong version resists. The strong version pushes forward. The strong version understands that excellence is not built in moments of comfort. It is forged in the fire of sacrifice, discipline, and relentless pursuit. Reject comfort. Reject mediocrity. Refuse to settle for anything less than the highest version of yourself. Step out of ease and into growth. Step out of the ordinary and into extraordinary effort. Step out of compromise and into courage. And as you do, you will discover strength you never knew you had, results you never imagined possible, and a life that reflects the greatness you were always meant to achieve. Comfort is a liar. Mediocrity is a thief. They will promise ease, but they deliver stagnation. They will promise peace, but they deliver regret. Only by rejecting them can you move toward the life of excellence, power, and impact that is waiting for you in 2026. Reject comfort, reject mediocrity, and step boldly into your destiny. Failure is not the end. Failure is not a verdict on your worth, your talent, or your potential. Failure is a teacher. Failure is a test. Failure is the raw material from which greatness is built, yet so many people run from failure, hide from it, or let it define them. They allow the weak version of themselves to whisper, "You're not good enough. You can't do this. You might as well quit." But I'm here to tell you today, if you want to rise in 2026, if you want to become unstoppable, if you want to achieve what others only dream of, you must use failure as fuel. You must harness it. You must let it propel you forward instead of holding you back. To use failure as fuel, you must first redefine it. The weak version sees failure as a permanent mark of defeat, as a reflection of personal inadequacy. But the strong version sees failure for what it truly is: information, experience, and preparation. Every mistake, every setback, every disappointment carries with it a lesson. Failure exposes what does not work so that you can discover what does. Failure reveals weaknesses so that you can strengthen them. Failure uncovers limitations so that you can push past them. Failure is not your enemy. It is the spark that ignites growth. Failure fuels resilience. It forces you to confront discomfort, disappointment, and resistance. The weak version retreats at the first obstacle, shrinks in the face of criticism, and surrenders when progress slows. But the strong version uses failure to build toughness. Each setback becomes an opportunity to rise stronger, to work harder, to refuse defeat. Resilience is the muscle that grows every time you face failure head on. And the more resilient you become, the less fear you feel. Because the truth is, the more you fail and recover, the more unstoppable you become. Another way failure becomes fuel is by sharpening your focus. When you fail, you see clearly what is necessary. You learn what works, what does not, and what needs adjustment. Failure removes illusions and forces clarity. The weak version gets lost in frustration, self-pity, and blame. The strong version studies failure, asks the hard questions, and refines the strategy. Every failure is a chance to correct course, to recalibrate, and to approach the goal with renewed precision and determination. Using failure as fuel also requires mindset. You must believe that failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the journey to success. Every successful person, every leader, every innovator, every champion you admire has failed many times. They have fallen, stumbled, and lost. They refuse to allow those experiences to define them. They transform disappointment into determination, loss into lessons, setbacks into stepping stones. The question is not whether you will fail. The question is how you will respond when you do. Courage is necessary to turn failure into fuel. It takes courage to try again after being knocked down, to put yourself on the line after rejection, to risk disappointment for the sake of progress. The weak version avoids risk because it fears failure. The strong version embraces it because it understands that risk is the gateway to reward. Courage allows you to face failure without fear, to analyze it without shame, and to act again without hesitation. Every courageous step taken after failure multiplies your strength, your confidence, and your momentum. Failure fuels growth when paired with reflection. You cannot simply fail and move on without learning. Reflection is the process of examining your choices, actions, and results. It is asking hard questions. What went wrong? What could I have done differently? What is the lesson here? The weak version ignores reflection because it is uncomfortable and inconvenient. The strong version seeks it because it is valuable and transformative. Reflection allows failure to become a teacher, not a tormentor. It allows mistakes to become insights and insights to become actions that lead to success. Persistence is another key element. Using failure as fuel requires that you not quit. It requires that you continue moving forward even when the world seems to push back. Every failure is temporary, but quitting is permanent. The weak version quits at the first sign of resistance. The strong version perseveres because it knows that progress often comes after the moment when most people give up. Failure is not final, it is fuel for the journey. Persistence transforms pain into power and loss into legacy. Failure also fuels humility. It teaches you that you are not invincible, that you are not omnipotent, and that there is always room for improvement. The weak version resents this lesson and becomes bitter. The strong version embraces it and uses it to grow. Humility keeps you teachable, adaptable, open to feedback. It allows you to refine your approach, strengthen your skills, and expand your vision. The more you embrace failure as fuel, the more you develop the humility necessary to rise higher than you ever imagined. Finally, failure fuels motivation. There is nothing more powerful than the fire that is ignited by disappointment, by loss, by defeat. That fire can either consume you or propel you. The weak version allows it to consume, to paralyze, to convince you to quit. The strong version channels it into relentless action, into determination, into a refusal to be stopped. Every failure becomes a reminder of what you will not tolerate, a reminder of the greatness that is within your reach if you refuse to surrender. Stop fearing failure. Stop hiding from it. Stop letting it define you. Instead, harness it, analyze it, learn from it. Let it strengthen you, sharpen you, motivate you, and push you to rise. Let it be the fuel that propels you past the weak version of yourself, past hesitation, past doubt, past every obstacle that stands in your way. Every failure is not a roadblock, it is a rocket. Every setback is not defeat, it is acceleration. Every loss is not the end. It is the spark that lights the fire of your destiny. Remember this, the path to greatness is littered with failures. A successful person, every champion, every visionary has fallen countless times. The difference is they did not let failure stop them. They let it drive them. And you can do the same. Use failure as fuel. Turn pain into power. Mistakes into momentum, and setbacks into stepping stones. Do not fear failure. Embrace it. Learn from it. Rise from it. And watch as the weak version of yourself fades, replaced by a version that is stronger, bolder, and unstoppable in 2026. Discipline is the backbone of greatness. Discipline is the invisible force that separates those who dream from those who achieve. Discipline is the daily choice to do what is necessary, even when it is uncomfortable, inconvenient, or exhausting. Yet so many people want the rewards without the work. They want the success without the sacrifice. They want the glory without the grind. And the weak version of themselves allows laziness, distraction, and inconsistency to steal their future. The truth is this: without discipline, potential is wasted, talent is squandered, and dreams remain just dreams. If you want to rise in 2026, you must commit to discipline with every fiber of your being. Discipline begins with clarity. You must know what you want, why you want it, what it will take to achieve it. The weak version drifts through life without focus, following impulses, reacting to circumstance, waiting for motivation to strike. The strong version defines the goal, sets the standard, and aligns every action with purpose. Without clarity, discipline cannot be sustained. Without purpose, effort is wasted. Discipline is not just about doing. It is about doing with intent, with direction, unwavering commitment. Commitment to discipline requires sacrifice. The weak version seeks comfort and avoids hardship. It wants the easy path, the convenient route, the shortcuts. But the strong version understands that sacrifice is the price of progress. It is willing to wake up before the world wakes, to work when others rest, to endure pain and fatigue in pursuit of excellence. Discipline demands that you do what others will not. It demands that you prioritize long-term success over short-term pleasure. Every sacrifice, every disciplined choice compounds into power, influence, and achievement. Consistency is the heartbeat of discipline. Discipline is not a single act, it is a lifestyle. The weak version acts sporadically, inspired one day and idle the next. The strong version shows up every day, rain or shine, motivated or tired, challenged or comfortable. Understands that greatness is built through repeated actions, not occasional effort. Every day that you choose discipline over indulgence, action over hesitation, commitment over excuses, you are laying the foundation for extraordinary results. Discipline also requires self-control. The weak version gives in to impulses, distractions, and temptations. It says yes to instant gratification and no to long-term benefit. The strong version delays gratification. It resists the easy lure of comfort. It chooses the path that aligns with purpose and vision, even when it is difficult. Self-control is the muscle that allows you to stay on course when the world is trying to pull you off it. Without it, discipline cannot last. With it, you can achieve anything. Another element of discipline is accountability. The weak version avoids responsibility and blames circumstances for failure. The strong version holds itself accountable for every choice, every action, every outcome. Discipline is strengthened when you demand excellence from yourself and refuse to settle for mediocrity. Accountability forces you to follow through, to rise when you stumble, and to keep moving even when motivation fades. The disciplined person is relentless because they refuse to let excuses dictate the terms of their life. Discipline also requires vision. You must see beyond the temporary discomfort, beyond the daily grind, beyond the challenges of today. You must see the life you are building through every disciplined action, the success that is accumulating through every small sacrifice, future that is being forged in the present. The weak version focuses on immediate results and becomes discouraged by delays. The strong version keeps the vision in mind, understanding that discipline compounds over time and that every disciplined choice is a seed that will bear fruit. Commitment to discipline also requires resilience. Discipline will be tested. There will be days when you feel like quitting, when fatigue clouds your mind. Temptation calls louder than purpose. The weak version gives in. The strong version persists. It pushes forward even when the path is steep, even when progress seems slow, even when the odds feel overwhelming. Every time you resist the urge to quit, every time you push through resistance, you strengthen your character, your focus, and your resolve. Time management is another critical aspect of discipline. The weak version wastes hours on distractions, procrastination, and meaningless activity. The strong version understands that time is a finite resource. Every hour lost is an opportunity wasted. Discipline requires structure, prioritization, and the willingness to say no to what does not serve your goals. It requires a relentless focus on what matters most and the courage to eliminate what is unnecessary. And finally, discipline requires faith in the process. The weak version wants immediate results, instant gratification, and visible rewards. The strong version trusts that the consistent application of effort, the repeated pursuit of excellence, and the commitment to daily action will produce results over time. Discipline is a long-term investment. It is a commitment to your future self. It is the understanding that success is earned through persistence, consistency, and unwavering effort day after day, moment after moment. Commit to discipline. Refuse to allow laziness, distraction, or excuses to dictate your life. Define your purpose. Align your actions with your goals. Sacrifice comfort for growth. Show up every day, even when you do not feel like it. Exercise self-control. Hold yourself accountable. Maintain your vision. Persist through challenges. Manage your time wisely. And trust in the process. Discipline transforms potential into power, effort into results, and dreams into reality. The weak version will resist it, complain about it, and seek to avoid it. The strong version embraces it, masters it, and allows it to shape every decision, every action, every moment of life. 2026 is the year to rise above the weak version of yourself. 2026 is the year to commit fully to discipline. 2026 is the year to do what others will not, to achieve what others cannot, and to become the extraordinary person you were always meant to be. Discipline is the difference between those who talk about greatness and those who live it. Discipline is the path from mediocrity to mastery. Discipline is the choice that separates the dreamers from the doers, the followers from the leaders, the weak from the strong. Commit to it. Honor it. Live it. Watch as your life transforms beyond anything you ever imagined. There is a voice inside every person, a voice that whispers doubt, fear, and limitation. That voice tells you, you're not enough, you can't do this, you will fail. That voice is the enemy. That voice is the weak version of yourself trying to control your destiny. And if you want to rise in 2026, if you want to step into the life you were created for, you must shout truths over lies. You must refuse to allow deception, doubt, and negativity to define your reality. You must speak with courage, conviction, clarity, and you must declare the truth of who you are and what you are capable of achieving. Lies are powerful because they are subtle. They creep into your mind through comparison, through fear, through the opinions of others. They disguise themselves as reality. They whisper, "You're not ready, you're not talented, you're not worthy." And if you do not confront them, they will control you. They will shape your decisions, limit your potential, and steal your destiny. The weak version listens to these lies, it internalizes them, it believes them, and it allows them to dictate the trajectory of its life. But the strong version fights them. It rejects them. It refuses to accept them as truth. It replaces them with the undeniable, unshakable truth of its purpose, potential, and power. Shouting truths over lies begins with self-awareness. You must identify the lies that have taken root in your mind. Where have you doubted yourself unnecessarily? Where have you accepted limitations that are not real? Where have you allowed fear or opinion to define what you can or cannot do? Awareness is the first step because you cannot fight an enemy you cannot see. You must shine a light on every lie, every negative belief, every false limitation. Recognize it for what it truly is, a story that does not define you, a chain that can be broken, a shadow that can be dispelled. Awareness alone is not enough. You must respond. You must declare the truth aloud. You must shout it in your mind, whisper it when fear creeps in, and speak it boldly to the world. Truth is powerful. Truth aligns your mind, your heart, and your actions. Truth overcomes doubt, silences fear, dismantles the lies that have been holding you back. When you consistently declare the truth of your worth, your ability, and your destiny, you create a reality that supports growth, courage, and achievement. The weak version allows lies to dominate because it confuses thought with truth. It accepts every negative thought as fact. It gives energy to fear, insecurity, and self-doubt. The strong version understands that thoughts are not commands, they are signals. And it chooses which signals to obey. When the weak version hears, "I can't," it stops. When the strong version hears, "I can't," it responds, "Yes, I can, and I will." Truth is not passive. It is active. It is alive. It must be declared, defended, and defended again until it becomes stronger than the lies. Shouting truths over lies also requires courage. It takes courage to face the inner critic, to confront the negative narratives, and to speak boldly when fear whispers otherwise. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the willingness to act in spite of it. The weak version avoids confrontation, it hides from the truth. The strong version stands tall, confronts the lies, and refuses to be silenced. Every act of courage strengthens your confidence, your resolve, and your momentum. And the louder you shout the truth, the smaller the lies become. Another key element is repetition. Lies persist because they are repeated. They gain power because they are whispered day after day, often without challenge. You must counter them with repetition. Speak the truth every day. Affirm your worth, your strength, and your potential. Declare your vision, your goals, and your purpose. Repeat it until it becomes unshakable, until it becomes your reality. The weak version relies on passive acceptance. The strong version relies on active declaration. Consistency transforms truth from words into lived reality. Shouting truths over lies also requires clarity. You must know your truth. Who are you? What are you capable of? What is your purpose? The weak version accepts vagueness and confusion. It allows uncertainty to dominate. The strong version defines its identity, owns its power, and refuses to let external forces dictate the story. Clarity allows you to focus your energy, protect your mind, and channel your actions in alignment with your highest potential. The impact of speaking truth extends beyond yourself. Lies often come from outside sources, criticism, doubt, envy, and negativity. Weak version internalizes these messages. The strong version filters them through the lens of truth. It understands that opinions are not destiny. Criticism is not condemnation, and negativity is not reality. Speaking truth aloud shields you from the toxic influence of others. It builds confidence, authority, and personal power. The louder your truth, the less power the lies hold over your life. Faith is also essential. Shouting truths over lies requires belief. Belief in yourself, belief in your mission, and belief that the world responds to courage, commitment, and action. The weak version doubts faith, and so it doubts everything else. The strong version trusts that declaring truth aligns reality with intention. It believes that what you speak boldly, consistently, and with conviction will manifest in action and results. Faith transforms truth from mere words into unstoppable force. Finally, shouting truths over lies demands persistence. Lies are relentless. They do not surrender easily. They will return, sometimes louder, sometimes disguised. You must continue to declare your truth. You must continue to affirm your worth. You must continue to speak boldly over the whispers of doubt. The weak version quits after one battle. The strong version persists, knowing that victory belongs to those who refuse to yield. The louder, the more consistent, more unshakable you are in your truth, the more the lies diminish in power. Identify the lies. Recognize them. Stand up to them. Declare the truth of your worth, your power, your vision, and your potential. Shout it aloud. Repeat it daily. Believe it fully. Defend it courageously. And refuse to let the weak version of yourself or the negativity of the world dictate what is possible in your life. The weak version fears truth because it exposes limitations. The strong version embraces it because it unlocks freedom, power, and destiny. Shout your truth over every life. Speak it into your mind, your heart, and the world. Declare your potential louder than doubt. Announce your vision louder than fear. Affirm your worth louder than criticism, and watch as the weak version fades, as your confidence grows, as your life begins to transform in alignment with the extraordinary destiny waiting for you in 2026. Lies are temporary. Truth is eternal. Lies can deceive. Truth empowers. Lies can paralyze, but truth propels. Lies can manipulate, but truth liberates. Shout your truth over every lie. Weak version of yourself will have no choice but to disappear. Step into your power. Declare your destiny. Speak boldly and rise. Power is not given. Power is not inherited. Power is not something that can be borrowed from others or wished into existence. True power is claimed, embraced, and commanded. Yet so many people live their lives as though they are powerless, as though their circumstances, their fears, or the opinions of others control their destiny. They allow the weak version of themselves to whisper, "You can't. You don't have what it takes. Leave it to someone else." But I am here to tell you today, if you want to rise in 2026, if you want to become unstoppable, if you want to live the life that was always meant for you, you must own your power. You must step into it fully. You must refuse to shrink, to apologize, to let anyone diminish it. Owning your power begins with awareness. You must recognize that it already exists within you. It is not created by circumstances. It is revealed through your choices, your courage, and your determination. The weak version searches for validation, waiting for permission to act, for permission to lead, for permission to dream. The strong version understands that power does not require permission. It is inherent in the decision to take responsibility for your life, to rise above fear, to act with intention, and to refuse to be defined by weakness. Your power is already within you. It is waiting for you to claim it. Owning your power requires responsibility. The weak version blames, complains, and points fingers. It allows life to happen to it rather than acting through it. The strong version understands that power is linked to accountability. When you take full responsibility for your choices, your actions, your results, and even your failures, you step into a higher level of authority over your life. The moment you stop blaming circumstances and start commanding your response, you move from being a passive participant to an active creator of your reality. Power demands ownership. Without it, you are at the mercy of external forces. Confidence is another essential component of owning your power. Weak version doubts itself constantly. It hesitates, fears judgment, and second guesses its decisions. The strong version trusts in its abilities. It knows that confidence is not arrogance. It is clarity about your worth, your skills, and your vision. Confidence allows you to act decisively, to influence others positively, and to move boldly even in uncertainty. Power without confidence is dormant. Confidence awakens it, giving you the courage to take bold steps, claim opportunities, and define your life on your terms. Owning your power also requires courage. Courage is the willingness to act despite fear, to take risks when others play it safe, to speak boldly when silence is easier. Weak version avoids confrontation, shrinks in the presence of challenge, and lets fear dictate choices. The strong version steps forward, confronts the difficult moments, and refuses to let fear control the narrative of their life. Every act of courage reinforces your power, builds momentum, strengthens your influence. Power is not passive. It grows in the moments when you are willing to face discomfort and rise anyway. Discipline is the foundation that sustains your power. The weak version gives in to impulses, distractions, and short-term desires. Strong version chooses daily rituals, habits, and actions that align with purpose and vision. Discipline ensures that your power is consistent, reliable, and unstoppable. It is the engine that transforms potential into performance. Without discipline, power can flicker and fade. With it, you become unshakable. Discipline turns the energy of desire into tangible results and amplifies the authority that comes from owning your actions. Owning your power also demands clarity of purpose. The weak version drifts, reacting to circumstances and external influences. The strong version defines its mission and aligns every thought, decision, and action with that purpose. When you know what you stand for and why you exist, your power becomes focused, intentional, and irresistible. It cannot be misdirected because it is anchored in truth, vision, and unwavering commitment. Power without purpose is wasted potential. Power with purpose is unstoppable influence. Boundaries are an often overlooked aspect of owning your power. The weak version allows others to dictate terms, overstep limits, and infringe on its energy. The strong version sets clear boundaries, protects its time, energy, and focus, and refuses to allow negativity or distraction to erode its influence. Power is about control, not control over others, but control over yourself. Setting boundaries ensures that your power is preserved, focused, and directed toward the life you are creating. Resilience amplifies power. Challenges, setbacks, and opposition will come. They always do. The weak version crumbles under pressure, allowing adversity to steal confidence, hope, and momentum. The strong version uses challenges as fuel, turning obstacles into opportunities, setbacks into lessons, and opposition into motivation. Power grows when it is tested. It is forged in struggle, strengthened in resistance, and revealed in the ability to rise every time life tries to push you down. Influence is the natural outcome of owning your power. The weak version tries to blend in, avoids leadership, and waits for permission to impact others. The strong version steps forward, demonstrates strength, communicates clearly, and inspires those around it. True power is not about control over others. It is about the ability to shape outcomes, elevate those around you, and create impact. Influence without integrity is empty. Influence with integrity is unstoppable. By owning your power, you not only transform your life, but also leave a legacy that shapes the world around you. Finally, owning your power demands action. Nothing changes without movement. Thinking, planning, and dreaming are meaningless without the courage to act. The weak version hesitates, waits for perfect conditions, and allows opportunity to pass. The strong version moves, decisively embraces uncertainty, and takes steps aligned with purpose every single day. Power is not theoretical. It is demonstrated through action. Every bold step you take, every decision you make, every challenge you face with strength reinforces your authority, asserts your presence, affirms that you are in control of your life. Own your power. Stop giving it away to doubt, fear, comfort, or opinion. Step into your authority. Claim responsibility. Act with confidence. Move with courage. Live with discipline. Define your purpose. Set boundaries, build resilience, influence others, and take action relentlessly. Power is not waiting for you. It is already within you. The question is, will you claim it, or will you allow the weak version to continue running your life? Owning your power transforms your reality. It turns hesitation into momentum, doubt into clarity, fear into courage, and potential into achievement. It allows you to rise above the weak version, overcome obstacles, step into a life of extraordinary purpose, influence, and fulfillment. 2026 is the year to stop shrinking. 2026 is the year to stop apologizing for your greatness. 2026 is the year to claim every ounce of power within you and let it propel you into the life you were always destined to live. Your power is yours to claim. It is not given. It is not taken from you by circumstances or people. It is awakened when you take responsibility, act decisively, and refuse to be diminished. Own it, guard it, amplify it, and watch as your life transforms into a testimony of strength, courage, and unstoppable influence. 2026 is not the year to wait. 2026 is not the year to hesitate. 2026 is not the year to settle for mediocrity, excuses, or comfort. 2026 is the year to rise relentlessly. To rise relentlessly is to refuse to be defined by failure, fear, or limitation. It is to refuse to be deterred by the opinions of others, by setbacks, or by the chaos of life. To rise relentlessly is to move forward with unwavering determination, discipline, and courage, no matter the obstacles, no matter the resistance, no matter the cost. It is to refuse to allow the weak version of yourself to dictate your reality. If you want 2026 to be the year you conquer your destiny, you must commit to rising relentlessly every day, in every moment, every ounce of strength within you. Rising relentlessly begins with mindset. You must decide that no matter what comes, no matter how the world tries to push you down, you will stand, you will persevere, you will overcome. The weak version gives in to discouragement. It complains, waits for permission. It hesitates at the first sign of challenge. But the strong version declares, I will rise, I will endure, I will succeed. Mindset determines momentum. If you do not rise in your mind, you will not rise in your life. Your thoughts, beliefs, declarations set the foundation for your actions. Choose resilience, choose faith, choose relentless determination. Rising relentlessly requires vision. You must see beyond the temporary setbacks, the discomfort, and the distractions. You must see the life you are building, the person you are becoming, the impact you are destined to make. The weak version focuses on immediate obstacles, the here and now, and allows fear and uncertainty to paralyze it. The strong version sees the bigger picture, and every setback becomes a setup for a greater comeback. Vision fuels persistence, and without vision, relentless action loses direction. But with clarity of purpose, you rise with unstoppable force. Action is the heartbeat of rising relentlessly. The weak version hesitates, waits for the perfect moment, and allows fear to control decisions. The strong version acts decisively, boldly, and consistently. Action transforms intention into reality. Every step you take, no matter how small, creates momentum. Every effort compounds, building strength, courage, and progress. Rising relentlessly is not about occasional bursts of effort. It is about daily, deliberate, focused action. The world does not reward those who wait. The world rewards those who move, who persist, who rise relentlessly despite the challenges. Failure and setbacks are inevitable, but they are not final. The weak version sees failure as defeat. It gives up, it complains, it retreats. Strong version sees failure as fuel, as feedback, as an opportunity to grow stronger, smarter, and more determined. Each setback is a test of resolve. Each obstacle is an opportunity to prove that your determination is greater than your fear. Rising relentlessly requires the courage to stand again and again, to push through when others surrender, and to transform every challenge into a stepping stone for victory. Discipline is essential to rising relentlessly. The weak version allows distractions, temptations, and comfort to derail progress. The strong version follows routines, builds habits, maintains focus even when motivation wanes. Discipline keeps you moving when energy is low. Discipline ensures consistency when circumstances are difficult. Discipline is the engine that transforms desire into achievement, dreams into results, and effort into legacy. Without discipline, relentless effort falters. With discipline, relentless effort becomes unstoppable. Resilience fuels rising relentlessly. Life will push, test, and challenge you. There will be storms, disappointments, and obstacles designed to slow you down. The weak version succumbs. The strong version stands tall, adapts, and keeps moving forward. Resilience is not just enduring. It is thriving in the face of adversity. It is refusing to be broken by circumstances, refusing to allow temporary defeat to become permanent failure, and refusing to allow external pressure to weaken your inner resolve. The more resilient you are, the higher and further you will rise. Courage is non-negotiable. Rising relentlessly requires confronting fear, uncertainty, and discomfort. It requires stepping into the unknown with boldness, refusing to shrink when the world doubts you, and taking decisive action even when the outcome is uncertain. The weak version waits for courage to arrive. The strong version creates courage through action. Every bold decision, every risk taken, every challenge faced with bravery strengthens your power and reinforces your momentum. To rise relentlessly, you must be willing to act boldly when fear screams to stop. Faith amplifies relentless rising. Faith in yourself, faith in your purpose, and faith in the process is what allows you to keep moving when results are not yet visible. The weak version doubts and falters. The strong version believes that every step, every effort, and every sacrifice is meaning. Faith sustains action when progress seems slow, and it maintains hope when obstacles appear insurmountable. Rising relentlessly is fueled by belief that your vision is worth every challenge, every setback, every moment of discomfort. Focus is another key component. Distraction is the enemy of relentless rising. The weak version allows noise, comparison, external opinions to derail progress. The strong version hones in on priorities, protects energy, and channels effort and actions that create impact. Focus aligns your mind, your actions, and your energy with purpose. The more focused you are, the more efficient your rise becomes. Every moment spent scattered is a moment that delays your breakthrough. To rise relentlessly, you must maintain unshakable focus on what matters most. Finally, rising relentlessly is about legacy. It is about refusing to settle for a life of mediocrity, excuses, and compromise. It is about taking control of your destiny and leaving a mark that reflects your strength, courage, and determination. The weak version worries about approval, comparison, and temporary discomfort. The strong version prioritizes purpose, impact, and long-term significance. Rising relentlessly is not about pleasing everyone. It is about fulfilling your mission, owning your journey, and refusing to allow fear, doubt, limitation to dictate your life. Rise relentlessly in 2026. Do not wait for permission. Do not wait for motivation. Do not wait for circumstances to be perfect. Stand now, move now, act now. Declare your purpose, take consistent action, embrace discomfort, confront fear, persist through setbacks, and trust that your relentless effort will create results. Refuse to allow the weak version of yourself to define your reality. Refuse to settle for less than your destiny. Refuse to allow fear, doubt, or opposition to stop you. Rising relentlessly transforms life. It turns hesitation into momentum, obstacles into opportunities, doubt into determination, and dreams into reality. The weak version hesitates. The strong version rises. The weak version complains. The strong version conquers. The weak version retreats. The strong version advances. To rise relentlessly is to claim your power, embrace your purpose, and refuse to be denied the extraordinary life that is waiting for you. 2026 will not wait for you. Your dreams will not chase you. Your destiny requires action. Rising relentlessly is not a suggestion. It is a command to yourself. Take it seriously, live it, and watch as your life transforms into the powerful, unstoppable, extraordinary reality you were always meant to create.